of applause, guys. Shobita, such a pleasure to have you here on the India Today stage. India Today Conclave South. And who better than you to grace this stage? Star, perfection personified, one of the movies of hers, The Night Manager and Made in Heaven. Night Manager is upcoming and Made in Heaven has already released, I believe.
Yes, good afternoon everyone. Night Manager was split into two parts. There's part one, that's out.
That was a show.
Part two is going to be out in a few days.
All right. And I've heard rave reviews of Made in Heaven and
Thank you.
we hear that you have acted perfectly well, which means that they're really looking at a superstar in the making.
I think I'm enjoying the journey. I'm having a lot of fun. So I think chasing the idea of superstardom can be intimidating. I'm happy where I am. I'm having fun.
Hey, you can't be so content. This is a girl who has a Hollywood movie up in the line.
I think I have recalibrated post-lockdown. My idea of success is a little wider than what it used to be before.
So tell me, how do you navigate through picking your films? Is it a meaty role that you look at? Is it a woman-centric role that you look at? Or is it just a way to tell your story? When I say yours, a way to tell a story. What are the parameters before you actually select a role?
When I started out, because I had no connection to the film industry in any capacity, it's not like I can sit back and say that, hey, I'd like to do this, and that will show up. It was more about picking from the ones that were available to me and doing what most resonated with me. I like doing stories that ideally that represent ordinary people, because I think every story can be extraordinary if it's told with honesty and with a little tenderness. So yeah, I think that authenticity is what touches me, and that's what I want to be representing when I do a part.
But, you know, Shobita, in fact, she has won Miss India in 2013, went on to participate in Miss Earth. So she's been globe-trotting ever since and now has a Hollywood movie lined up, as she said. I'm going to ask you about that a little later. But Shobita, what really got you from modeling to films? The transition is natural. We've seen that with way too many stars now, like Aishwarya. Let's start with that, right? Or Deepika Padukone, a model turned actor. What really sparked that actor in you? Was it always, is actor who you always wanted to be?
Miss India really happened at the tail end of my college. I just graduated and it was like summer vacation. I'd enrolled in masters and I think I just wanted to be cool. Honestly, I didn't have much thought around it, and I got through and it was exciting and I wanted to pursue it, but I didn't know what one does after the event, so I was just trying to figure it out on the go. I always found fashion to be really cool. It's something I saw in the magazines or on television, and I'd look at these, you know, models and just be amazed, and I wanted to belong with it. However, when I started modeling, I found myself to be a little, there was no fulfillment that I could find there, and that was the time when I was backpacking a lot on my own, and somehow I think I arrived at a certain kind of clarity that I want to be able to express creatively, and I started auditioning for ads, television commercials, and through that route I found myself at a film audition, and halfway through that audition I knew that, you know, that was my calling. It just took me a while. I had to take the longer route to get there. I was discovering what I felt for by sampling everything that came my way.
You know, can I ask you, what was that winning question that you answered while you won Miss India?
I was asked, do you think, something on the lines of, do you think schools and colleges should have a say in imposing a code on uniforms, like a school uniform or a college uniform?
Should there be a code, a dress code?
A dress code.
In school?
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your answer.
I grew up in Vizag. I moved to Mumbai because I just really wanted to experience that sort of uh, a mix of cultures, and I wanted that exposure. So I was all like, no uniform.
No uniform?
I think I just felt like, and also it was, I think, coming from the context of, so girls can be safer, people can behave better. So I just felt like I don't think imposing restrictions on uniform should be the route. A better sense of, I guess, code of conduct inculcated in kids, I think that's a more progressive step. That's what I said at that point. I mean, I didn't word it like that, but that's what I said.
It's interesting because I somehow see your vision on a lot more of the discussion around uniformity in schools, a dress code, what to wear, what not to wear.
Looking back, I do cherish, when I think of, oh, that's my school uniform, when I see a kid on the street in Vizag. So there is a certain sense of unity, a certain sense of we are one pack when there's a uniform, but obviously it shouldn't be because girls can be safer. I think that's a bit skewed. That's a bit skewed. That shouldn't be the reason.
When you think of safety, security, women, how would you look at that in our country today? Do you feel safe as an actor, as just a woman?
I'm in a very privileged position. I live in the confines of my apartment in a city like Mumbai, in highly populated suburb. I don't think I'm an accurate representation of the average girl on the street. My experiences have
Your
been
experience.
good. I went backpacking alone in my early 20s, and it didn't occur to me that I should feel scared. It's part foolishness, but I'm fortunate. I had a good experience, but I don't think that is the case with many. So I shouldn't have a generalized, that's not fair to have a generalized
General
opinion.
view. I'm speaking of your perspective alone.
No, I've had
your experience.
Yeah. I feel more unsafe with people in a crowded room.
You're safer alone.
Yes.
Imagine. All right. Shobita, tell me more about films for you. And when we speak of, you spoke about privilege. You said you come from a place of privilege. I'd like to ask you if that privilege took you to land movie roles. There's a lot to talk around nepotism, on kids or stars and their children having a freeway. But you made it. Did you have a godfather?
I actually don't come from privilege as much as I recognize the privilege that a lot of us live with. I've had the chance. I have healthy living parents. I'm educated. I speak a couple of languages. I'm able to take care of myself, physically, mentally sound, and I think that in itself is a huge privilege. It's nice to be able to acknowledge it. And as far as I don't bring any special privileges with me when it comes to my career. It's been completely a roller coaster ride. I've been figuring things on my own, and I think it's important to appreciate the things that have gone right. Because so often I feel like when we look back, I guess this should have happened, or this didn't happen with me, or she has him, he has her, whatever. I don't know how that discussion is productive. I find it quite anxiety inducing. So I think stronger the shoulders, tougher the challenges, no? And they say the harder you work, the luckier you get. So
Absolutely.
I'm like, yeah.
I totally reckon. I think that's how it works. Even if you land a role out of influence or someone's reference, probably that one movie paves the way for you, and then after, it's all your talent that really will shine. And if you don't, then that's it. It's a dead end.
I wouldn't really know that experience because I had given hundreds of auditions before I got my first film audition, and just getting that film audition, the opportunity, and to think that, wow, a filmmaker is going to watch this, that was very exciting. So I think I was just so in love with the with the ability to just try to do things. And
you said hundreds of auditions.
Yeah.
Hundreds of auditions,
Yeah.
right? So have people within the industry been receptive of your the auditions that you gave? Have they dismissed it? What kind of challenges did you really face when you transitioned from modeling to acting? I'm asking you this because there's usually a notion that not all models can't be actors. Not all of them actually have the talent to act. And people could be dismissive of actors, say a model saying that that's just all looks on camera, you need talent, not too sure if you have it. So how did you really work towards busting that myth around you?
I was very aware of just like what you said just now. I had heard it so many times, and I remember being a kid watching, a pageant on TV and be like, she looks good. Maybe she's just, that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I think it's a common way of thinking. I was quite conscious of it, and I felt like I needed to do the kind of content which allowed people to see that I could deliver performance. So that became a priority. So my first film, the first audition, it was for a film Raman Raghav 2.0 with Anurag Kashyap, who I believe is incredibly talented, and he's like a front runner when it comes to casting people that he believes in and makes cinema with a lot of passion.
Yeah.
And that film went to Cannes Film Festival, and I was nominated for my performance. And I was very young at that time, young also because of my lack of experiences, not just age. I remember feeling very, very inspired, very motivated to do work that is that's meaningful, that makes me feel something. I think from that point onwards, I was single-mindedly focusing on wanting to do films or do things that show variety. I was on the go building my portfolio with each opportunity. That's what I understood at that time. And I think that did help me, because in the same spirit Made in Heaven happened. It was a time when OTT did not blow up in India. It was very new. I think one or two shows had come out, and it still hadn't become what it is today.
Yeah.
So it was a bit experimental, but what was I to lose? Where I come from, Timbuktu, like it doesn't matter. I am from Tenali. I grew up in Vizag. I really wanted to give it my best, and I think practicing gratitude comes naturally to me, and I'm very lucky for that.
Yeah, patience, I think that's what's worked for you then. 100 auditions, I can only imagine how that felt.
I think it's not about not feeling bad. It's about being able to pick yourself up after that.
Yeah.
Because the larger picture, you've got to constantly look at the larger picture. And I think somewhere...
So tell me about your larger picture. What's Shobita's larger picture? What's your purpose? Where do you envision yourself? And is there a motive behind what you're doing?
Honestly, I don't think life has purpose. I just think we're here to witness this ride, going from one shore to another. This body is a vessel. I genuinely believe that. With that in mind, everything that I get to do is a blessing. Obviously, some days are tough. Some days we feel small or insecure, or just, I guess, maybe you're jealous or angry or just upset that we are not given, something that we believe we deserve. I think if we can find things outside of that job that can bring us comfort, that can bring us joy, that can bring us growth, it is great to be able to employ those things during those lows, so that we don't become bitter people. Because I don't think an artist or a storyteller of any kind should be bitter or judgmental. They should be able to imbibe and not be changed. It's tough, but it is a discipline. It's a craft. It's not a gift.
You seem like a very opinionated, thoughtful person to me. Within the industry, to land a role that's women-centric itself. Today, well, in compared to the past to today, more number of roles are made keeping women in mind or the woman in mind. But to actually land one, you have, so early on in your career, is certainly not easy. So how would you look at that? Women empowerment, women-centric roles, have we evolved finally?
There are times in the past where there's been cinema that was extraordinary in its representation of women. We've had our highs and lows depending on the kind of political environment, I guess, and the kind of like the cultural mood of the country. Cinema was a reflection of that, and I guess vice versa. I, for one, am fortunate to, I think it is my desire to experiment that has sometimes led me into really beautiful experiences, and sometimes it's just a film doesn't do well because it's not something people resonate with. But I chose to be a part of Made in Heaven with the same spirit as I chose to be a part of Muton. Yeah. It's a Malayalam film. Absolutely proud of it. It's a really small part, but I was just so thrilled to belong with that canvas. Such a beautiful, incredible, sensitive film. One might not be commercially the most popular one, most successful one in terms of box office or whatever, but I think it's important to do what you feel for. That's been the way I looked at it. And it's okay
and
to not be
filmmakers are receptive
right.
today?
You do your bit.
Yeah?
You do your bit.
You do your bit, irrespective.
Everything can't be transactional, because then I'm in the wrong field. Okay, let me put it like this. If everything was about taking a step forward, marching ahead, you would never dance, because when you dance, you don't move forward. You're in the same spot, but you are changed because you feel happy, joy, release. Thank you. But I think the purpose of life is not progression. It's experiences. And the greatest thing one can do is service, which is obviously that's just the way I look at it. I'm often terrified of sounding, quite bougie, and because I feel like people have a certain idea of how an actor, actress is, and the kind of things they want to speak to them about, and so I just keep to myself often.
So it's all about your experience. It's all about experiences. I'm taking away from what you said.
It's experiences. It's sensitivity. It's so amazing to be an actor in a way, because one cannot experience everything, but where you cannot go, your empathy goes and you tell their story.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
So I feel like what I'm doing is incredible. If box office success is coupled with it, you feel validated, you feel loved, you feel the love back, it nurtures you. But I don't think that can be the motivation, because then you feel bad.
That is the expectation and motivation. Whether you achieve it or not, like you said, ultimately lands in an experience. Whichever way it goes, you got to embrace that. Shobita, movies today are made around are made around the story itself, less about the actor. Gone are the days where the actor was really the center focal point. Today you have stories to tell, and that's what we see the Malayalam film industry. And I say this specifically because we're in the lovely state of Kerala. Malayalam movies, actors who are all fresh faces go on to become such big stars because the storyline itself becomes a blockbuster. Is that the right way forward anyway? And do you see that a lot more of that actually giving you opportunities as well, since you're a newcomer too?
I've had such a unique experience in the Malayalam industry, because I've got to work on a Muton, which is intense, and it's a certain kind of cinema. And then I got a chance to be a part of something like Kurup, which is loved and celebrated. Both incredible actors, popular, loved, but both are encouraged and accepted for what they're trying to say, and that's amazing, and I don't think that's common. I love to be. It's funny actually to be an actor, because I think one looks at it as a like people who like acting or enjoy it for the craft. It's like people assume they want to be visible, but actually you want to be invisible. In the guise of the character, you find out a little more of yourself. And I think Malayalam cinema especially celebrates that spirit. I've loved their films for a very long time as an audience. Most recently, I'm dying to watch 2018. I am a fan of a lot of actors, the kind of cinema made. And I don't know if there's a right or wrong. I know that there's like waves. I don't think one can say this is the right way to be, because sometimes I've had this argument actually with a friend, and she was like, no, but like if a film is successful, it's because people have watched it, because they liked it, therefore it's made money. So maybe like commercially successful cinema is good cinema. But then maybe cinema is also an instrument.
You need different kind of cinema for different emotion, different moments, different days. I'd like to watch a horror today, an emotional one tomorrow, a comedy one day after.
Yeah.
So,
Also,
yeah,
I
you
think
have takers for all kinds of films.
the films that you want to watch as a community in a theater might be very different from the stuff that you want to watch on your screen when you're alone after a hard day at work. So I guess there's something for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, since you're from the South, can I say that? Can I ask you if language is a dividing factor at all? You worked in a bunch of South Indian films, Bollywood as well. So give us a sense on this whole South-North debate and this language barrier or war that we speak of today. Does language influence your choices at all?
But I don't think it's a new war at all. I think
No,
the
it's
war's
not.
been
It's not, but it's an ongoing one, which I want your comment on.
No, I just think the war's become a little more visible because of perhaps cinematic successes.
Yeah.
But pre-independence, I think there's always like, what should be the national language? So India isn't it really a union of states in a way? It is a country. We're all very tight together. Though when we cheer for our cricket team, we're just Indian. But inherently, I think we're very, very different in our cultures, our food, our languages. And I think it's important to acknowledge that and then celebrate it for what it is. Homogeneity, I think, is not something I think is natural or something I root for. So I think I like the differences. And
I mean, we are a diverse culture, and why not celebrate that? Absolutely. India moment internationally, how is India being viewed? I mean, I'm asking you this question because you've represented India in the Miss Earth pageant. So as of today, the way India is viewed, several artists from India, Alia Bhatt is doing a Hollywood film, Deepika Padukone is doing a Hollywood movie, you are doing a Hollywood movie now. So a lot more takers globally for India, Indians. It's fascinating, isn't it?
It's quite exciting to see the Indian woman on a global like amongst the global audiences, for them to, I think this colorblind casting is something that's been a part of mainstream conversation abroad for a few years now, and I think I find it quite inspiring to watch Indians succeed. I mean, athletes, actors, just I think getting visibility abroad. I think it's something that can be quite inspiring.
How may I ask? I mean, what was the real challenge for you to land the Hollywood role? Where auditions at that point, where these directors or the casting directors, they're looking for Indians? Is there a lot more interest in Indians itself?
You know, I must really be delusional, because when I try to think of challenges, I can't remember any, because I only remember how I had a great time. But I've cried a lot on tough days. But when my first film was being shot, around that time I was called for an audition for a film, and I was obviously very excited because it was for something international. We were not told what. I had multiple rounds of screenings, and Dev Patel had come So, and then I hadn't really heard. 5 years go by, 6 years, and then he drops in and is like, hey, remember that test? And then we sort of picked it off from there. It's a film directed by Dev Patel. It's something
Lovely.
he's worked very hard on for the past many, many years.
Wow.
It's called Monkey Man, and it's produced by Braun Studios, Thunder Road, and serious guys who made some like solid films like a Joker, Bombshell, Sicario, John Wick.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome to see people really go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're so excited to see, we're going to be seeing you in that film, and what could be better?
I feel like I've done like 2 films in Malayalam, 2 in Tamil, 2 in Telugu, a few in Hindi, some in the OTT space, one the Hollywood film.
So you have a nice mixed bag, yeah?
It's a mixed bag. It's like a packet of gems.
What could you ask for more? I can't even imagine for a better start, and Shobita has had one of the best. It was such a delight to have you here to speak with us. Can I ask you, as we end this, we're out of time here, but as we end this, what makes Shobita smile? I see you very calm, composed, pious. Anything that really cracks you up crazy? I don't need anything, huh?
Really old people acting like children. I think it's quite adorable.
So you like a little humor and...
Yeah, I think innocence is something that breaks my heart in a beautiful way.
All right. Thank you.
Wow, that sounded very intense. I didn't
Yeah,
mean to...
I've been thinking for the young 31-year-old Shobita, you are so philosophical.
I apologize. It's just, I'm just so like, this is an important stage where
Hey,
very,
be
very...
yourself. Absolutely. I think it is a prestigious stage, but like Bandeep, me and you were having a conversation. It's always so refreshing to have someone young and with a fresh mindset. And, you know, we're just going to go with your flow. And that's what we did today. Thank you very much. Do you sing? Can I ask you to sing as I let you go?
No.
Come on.
No. Thank
Dance.
you. I think this is also the assumption one has of actors. Arey nach ke dikhana. It's the
Come
same thing.
on.
Acha ek gana to ga. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Hey.
I can't.
I'm looking at virality.
Huh?
That's my
You're looking
aim.
at?
Virality. I
Wow,
want a
ma'am,
viral
I shan't
moment of
partake.
this.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being a patient audience. Thank you
Hey,
so much.
A big round of applause. Shobita Dolipala, thank you very much. Such a delight chatting with you. And all the very best.